What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm joined with Ben from Immersion BTC. What's up, man?
How you doing, sir?
Dude, I'm in Arkansas, and of course I gotta come visit Ben. You've been on the channel a number of times now.
Yeah, four or five, I believe.
Celebrity, people are asking for more Ben. We want more Ben.
No, you don't want more Ben.
So guys, while we're here visiting his farm in Arkansas, I thought we'd connect and kind of find out from your perspective. You know, you're much more on the larger enterprise side of mining within building mining farms. You run an immersion, you got air-cooled setup here. And I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about with Ben is the state of mining right now, more specifically crypto mining. And we'll kind of talk a little bit today about GPU mining, about ASIC mining, and just crypto in general right now.
Yeah.
So, those of you guys watching this in the future, it is the end of April, very early May, and mining's in a unique place right now. So we just finished the halving.
Yep.
And how are you feeling? How are things looking going into the first few days leading up to the halving and directly after for you?
Well, I think all of us, the day of the halving, when Runes took off, we were all real happy with those transaction fees, right? It's obviously died off since. Hash price this morning was 5.3 cents, so I believe that's an all-time low. So, you know, I was hoping that we'd see a lot of the hash rate fall off, and we should. I was looking, I think we're at like 600 exahash right now. We hit 800 and something 2 days ago. It made no sense, but we'll see how this plays out. But
yeah, I think from the Bitcoin mining side with ASICs, I think a lot of us thought like it would drop off faster than what it has. And I think a lot of it pre-exists and existing now because of the fact of we saw those quick profitabilities. Where I bet you guys were singing. You're like, heck yeah.
Yeah, it was great for 2 days, 3 days after the halving. But like I said, it's dropped off significantly. Like I said, the lowest point, I believe, in history of hash price for Bitcoin miners.
That. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So technically, we're probably going through the roughest time to be a Bitcoin miner.
Yeah, I mean, as older hardware you expect to start to power off, or I don't know if you guys have gone into more of your efficiency modes with some of your ASICs, you know, which is what we saw in like throughout the bear market. You know, have you guys done that yet here or not yet? Before we go too much further in today's video, I want to give a special shout out to the team over at 𝐋𝐨𝐿 Mining for sponsoring today's video. I've had the pleasure of working with the team over at 𝐋𝐨𝐿 Mining for the last 3 years as I've grown as a content creator and a home crypto miner, starting with the X4-1U, then moving on to the X4Q, and finally the new 𝐋𝐿16Q. These miners, hands down, are some of the best, most efficient, most reliable, and some of the quietest miners in the industry. If you're in the market to purchase your next crypto miner, go over and check out 𝐋𝐨𝐿 Mining. They now carry some of my favorite ASIC miners like 𝐋𝐨𝐿𝐺, 𝐷oldShell, Bitmain, Ice River, and many more. Go check out 𝐋𝐿mining.com via the link in today's video description and use the special code down below to give you a discount at checkout.
Yeah, we have a Hive on our units, both immersion and air units. I was just looking a minute ago, it makes better sense to turn them into low power mode. They're all J Pros here. A few K Pros, but mainly the 104 terahash J Pros.
Yeah, if you guys are curious, I do have a full mining farm tour of this location, and we'll actually have a separate video taking a look at some of these air-cooled containers in the near future here, but I'll put a link to those directly down below. So, all right, so let's talk about crypto mining overall. You know, we came out of a quite lengthy bear market. We kind of went through this weird, call it just the tip time period, where, you know, we saw some good profitability on mining across the board, and now we're kind of receding back a little bit from a profitability perspective. Let's talk about, you know, that overall. Let's talk about bear market, bull market type of deal. You've been through some yourself. Where do you feel we are? Are we still in that bear market as some define? Are we bull market approaching? Are we in the up and up? Kind of where do you feel we are based off of what you've learned?
I think that, so historically, the Bitcoin price does drop right after the halving. So this is not unusual for the history of Bitcoin.
And today we're at 62, just to give people perspective.
Exactly. So we've dropped off about $10,000 since around the high. I think we're still going to obviously go up. We'll see what the ETFs do. BlackRock had 0 inflows on Friday. That's a problem. We've kind of been riding the coattails of the ETFs here lately. So if they pick up, then I would expect the Bitcoin price to go up. But we have to flush out older generation and less efficient miners. That's just how it has to be. We really, as miners, we don't really care so much for the price of Bitcoin as much as that hash price. And that's right. And I think that's a key thing for new guys to learn. Don't focus on the dollar value of Bitcoin. Look at the hash price. See what you're going to be getting. Yeah, because if your hash rate is through the roof, your profitabilities are going to be significantly lower. Right. Yeah, I mean, naturally you think of like, all right, we had a halving, so you think, okay, we're going to have those older units drop off, and older meaning, I'm already thinking and talking with people about like 100 terahash units, but older than that, your 95s, your 90s, 80, as we drop down. I was talking with Blake about this the other week from Musk Miners, cracking the hat there, and the fact of, will we see some of this older hardware pick up and move to other countries where electric is free or you're sub 3 cents, and like that'll let those miners make sense there versus here, but we haven't seen that yet. So I would agree. So Bitcoin mining definitely in this weird limbo. We'll kind of see where we go. When I talk to people about the bull market, unfortunately I think we're not there. And I don't know that we will get there. Some of my speculation is the fact of like, because mining is more mainstream now, it's more household. People know of Bitcoin, they know of mining, they know of crypto. Doesn't mean they're participating, but they know of it. It's more well known. We're seeing it day to day in the news. We're seeing right now, like, doesn't help the SEC attacking everything under the sun with anything mining, wallets, brokers, everything. Everything's working against crypto right now, which means we're probably doing something right if everybody's against it. But part of the things I've talked with people about and love your opinion on is like, we may not see a change of this atmosphere until the next presidential election. Would you agree with that? That just right now, everything is against crypto mining? So I've heard rumors that if Biden does get reelected, that it will turn to positive. This is from people that worked in the White House in previous administrations that have some connections, I guess. Whether that's true or not, is always speculation there. I personally am a Trump supporter. I hope he wins, not only for crypto, but just for our country in general, in our world right now. But I think he's more business savvy, more capitalistic. So I think that would be good for the markets, and in return, that'd probably be good for our markets. I think really right now, me and Ricky, the BlockOps owner, he comes from a TradFi background. We're talking about the bond market being real shaky right now. Another bank closed yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. So the amount of faith in traditional investments and the US dollar is like absolutely at its all-time low. And I think that's the thing when we look at crypto, and it's all connected. For those of you guys watching where you're newer or unsure, like, it's all connected. The current economy versus crypto, it all comes full circle. Like, when the economy is flourishing and doing well, your cost of living is lower, crypto does better. Look at the last bull run. Now, granted, a lot of that was directly inflated by COVID and the amount of money being injected into the scene, but still, I agree with you. Like, it's all full circle. And looking at the next presidential election, I think it will take a different administration to turn things around.
Agreed.
I think the current administration just is not in favor of us miners. I think it's very visible, especially off of the news recently. And so I do think when I start to talk to people now, if you asked me months ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, we're looking on the up and up. But now, based off of where we are now, I'm like, it's really going to be 2025 and after before we really get to see that.
And historically, every halving is you peak out about 18 months after anyway. So
which will align. It would be the perfect opportunity.
Right. Did Satoshi envision it that way? That's when he released Bitcoin, was during the first Obama election, right? So
it's all about strategy.
Did he align it with the presidential elections? I don't know. Or did they, whoever Satoshi is. But, you know, it's not stopping. From a construction standpoint, it's not stopping guys from growing and building. I'm the president of the Arkansas Blockchain Council now. That's a new thing since we last were on video. And we gathered all the domestic miners in Little Rock, which is our capital. We had some legislation we're getting through and working with the state there. It's all positive
Mining's
stuff.
got a fantastic opportunity in Arkansas.
Yeah, we'll have 2 bills come out of the House and go to Governor Sanders' desk.
Okay.
Next week is the plan, and it's gonna have some regulation in it, positive regulation. So this is what I tell them. We've been the Wild West for too long, and we do need regulations. If we're going to be legitimized as an industry, no industry works with impunity. So it's important that we help write our own future there and interact. We've lived in the shadows for a long time as crypto guys, and they're interested in us, not just here in Arkansas, but other states. Satoshi Action Fund's out there getting a lot done. So I hope that the regulation in the political future gets better for crypto miners. But like you were saying, it's so mainstream now, I don't know how they can't work with us.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you asked me a year ago or more, I would have been totally unregulated mindset. But as we've grown as a mining community, and it's growing, and Arkansas, I've been here many times now, I've seen it growing. The regulation, I am finding, and I can agree with, that you need it in order to continue growing to protect you. Because you have so much working against you with negative media, with negative publicity. I mean, the SEC is not helping that out now. I mean, it's putting mining in such the negative spotlight. You really need to be able to change that narrative.
Well, I found that all these legislators that I've been talking to for weeks now, once you sit down and kind of educate them with what you're doing and dispel some of the rumors and the myths out there, they see it's a very advantageous financial decision to make to go into this, and it does have the benefits. And I advocate for the small guys to go to hosting services and being part of it, because it's the next future of real estate. In my opinion, you can buy. I always tell them, you can buy these computers for $1,500 and get a return of $200 a month right now.
Crazy.
Or you can buy a $250,000 rental house and deal with a tenant and make the same return. Like, which one do you want to do? And when I sit down and explain that to them, they're like, "Oh, where do I sign up?" It's like, nobody is. I find that on the local side of politics, at least here in Arkansas, nobody is really just outright wanting to ban it. They just need the education there. So that's going to be our next step as the Blockchain Council here in Arkansas, is to really work with universities, hopefully. Williams Baptist, which is directly across the street from our facility here. We've been in talks with them to try to get a tech school there or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Ben's going to host a class,
Yes, we'll see. So I'll need some help for sure. But yeah, just open up the broad opportunities that crypto does give, because it's not just a one track thing of Bitcoin mining. There's so many spin-offs from it. GPU mining. I've been contacted about building AI centers here in the state. So this is all things coming.
Let's pivot a little bit to that, which makes sense. Let's talk about altcoins and then into GPU mining and home mining. So from your perspective as a larger miner here, are you finding demand for just facilities that are hosting a wide variety, or is it just straight Bitcoin right now?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt your video, but check this out. I constantly get emails from the community asking me about trustworthy hosting facilities in the United States that I recommend. Well, I got you covered. Listen up. A few months back, I visited BlockOps Mining's brand new facility in Central Arkansas. The team there was super professional, knowledgeable, and everyday miners like you and I. After visiting the facility, I sent them a few of my ASIC miners for hosting and have been super happy with their service and communication. Go contact BlockOps Mining directly down below in the video description and tell them the Hobbyist miner sent you for great pricing on miners and hosting.
So I think we had a request the other day through BlockOps for 4,000 of the, was it 4090s to be hosted?
Wow.
Yeah, of course he's not set up for it, but so I'll obviously send them over to Hawk and them over there because they're set up for it. Yeah, good guys. So, you know, the community's real small, so we do work together. You know, that's what I've tried to explain to people is like, while we are competitors, we also try to help each other out because we know.
I think everyone's so like, they're not so segmented where like, it's like, okay, well this is where my specialty is.
That's right.
And so I'm not gonna try to reinvent it, so pass it around. Yeah, so AltCoin mining I'm finding right now, and your thoughts on it, is as Bitcoin, shouldn't say struggles, but is not performing the best, based off what we talked about at the top of this video, do you see altcoin as a great avenue to diversify for people?
I think so, especially home miners. You know, that's where I got started, was GPU mining, mining Ethereum back in the day. I was looking this morning, and I believe that Ravencoin came out of nowhere. Is like the most profitable right now.
The coin that doesn't die. I don't get it.
That's right. You know, I think GPU mining has its place, and especially as we go into a more AI-centered future, the decentralized version of these different algorithms for AI can be rendered at home is very important and probably going to be real profitable.
Yeah, I would say as a home miner, you know, naturally after the Ethereum merge, I naturally thought we would at some point in the next year, in that year or two, find a replacement for Ethereum.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we haven't. And I think the hard part is I think that market is pivoting to that proof of useful work in some capacity, where if it's Flux or if it's Dynex, or if you move in more into the AI rendering perspective and those platforms, I'm a huge advocate for using that hardware in a capacity that allows me to get paid out in crypto. I don't want dirty fiat. So I am more on board for some of these platforms that are paying out in crypto. However, it seems like we're being forced in that direction, whether as a home GPU miner, whether we like it or not, if you're gonna follow profitability. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you should go into this with a business aspect. You know, I've heard guys that, you know, talk about, well, keep my crypto, like you were just saying, then guys treat it like a true business where they're turning a profit of some sort and doing all the legal avenues that they have to do to run a legitimate business. So I think it's a mindset that you got to have. Which mindset do you want? Do you want to, are you idealistic and have a crypto mindset where this is the future, or do you have a business aspect? No, I think it's healthy to have both because you can be burnt one way or another, right? Like in crypto, we all know what can happen in crypto. We've probably all had it done to us, you know, rug pulled all the time, at least once. So operating like a true business can really help you focus your needs for the future and help you see what the future is going to bring, I think. And that doesn't mean you can't hold crypto, right? Like it's an asset. There's all legitimate businesses hold assets, right? Like different assets. So, but I think it's important to have the mindset of operate like a pure business instead of the traditional, you know, I want to get away from the system because the system's coming to us. We need to bring it into them. You know, we were talking about, you know, with crypto, there's trillions and trillions of US dollars in foreign debt, right?
Correct.
Practically what we're doing in crypto is repatriating that dollar back to the United States right now. And when we do sell back to the dollar, which is the dirty fiat that all of us don't really care for, but until we're...
we still need it. Like,
that's right, you gotta have it.
Because you can't go out and go to the... traditionally, you can't go out to a grocery store and be like, here, I'm gonna pay with my Bitcoin wallet.
That's right.
Traditionally, there's very few cases, but
And I hope that, we all hope that comes in the future. And that's gonna take work at the legislative level. From, you know, there's a lot of guys now up here talk like the cannabis industry, where the cannabis industry just kind of just said, well, we're going to tackle the states, and the federal government would either have to come after us, or they just don't have the resources sometimes. They say, and that's how the cannabis industry has grown across the country.
It has. I remember when it used to be like such a big negative, and then it was adopted. Sound like crypto a little bit, right? And then it comes down to now the state level. And it works out great.
And you can get more things done at the state level. It's more of a part-time legislators are there, and they're usually all businessmen that understand, hey, we're here to make money and do things the right way. So I think that's kind of how we need to treat the crypto industry, is kind of follow some of the steps of the cannabis industry. So I think that's important, just because as Americans, we have to always be on, or people in general, we always have to be on the look for the next thing, right? Especially if we're going to be investors in anything, which is why we're always hopping around from altcoin to altcoin and Bitcoin to another, because we're looking for that next best thing. But it's time that we focus this more as a country and bring a business mindset to the crypto industry a little bit better than what we have.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. If new miners coming into the space now, which are traditionally home miners, I think it is some good advice to. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to try it as a hobby, but we all know how that works. That hobby grows and grows and grows.
It takes over your life.
And then next thing you know, so I think it is, approach it as a hobby, but very quickly pivot to a business mindset. Because at the end of the day, that hobby, let's be realistic, you're looking to turn a profit in some avenue.
It's expensive.
But it's expensive. And so I think if you very early on pivot from, and there's no rule book for this, there's no guidebook for this.
Right.
But if you pivot from, hey, I'm just approaching it as a hobby, to like, as soon as that moment where you go, I'm looking to make a profit, it's no longer a hobby. It is another source of income. Turn it into a business. Look at expensing, some of that hardware, which will help out a lot. And I think, as you move into it, then you're looking at it from a profitability perspective. Because I truly do think, like I was talking about this earlier today, of chasing daily profitability to pivot from different things. It's just, people aren't valuing their time.
That's right.
They're just like, oh, I'll swap multiple times a day to what's most profitable. It's like, oh man, you're not doing yourself any favor there.
No, and we're in this game to see our prices go up too. So if you're swapping every day, you're limiting your bags essentially for that exposure to the upside. So that's why I was saying, I think we have to have a healthy mix. That's why we have a healthy mix for what we do here. We pay our bills with what we need, and then we store the rest. It's just price of doing business here in the States right now, because nobody accepts Bitcoin. If they ever accept Bitcoin, it's going to be a lot easier. And I think that's important too. Like, how do you value it? We're always valuing it in the dollar every day. So we are looking at back to that fiat system that we were talking about, when hopefully over time an adoption takes place, and we.
All right, so to end things off here, love your perspective, Ben, on what do you foresee for the next few months with just the crypto scene right now? I mean, today, as we're recording this, it's not looking so hot across the board. Profitability, acceptance from a governance level, at a federal level, what are you feeling like? Are you preparing to kind of bunker down a little bit, or kind of where's your head at?
So, I don't think you can. I think you have to always grow, because if you become stagnant, you're going to fall behind. I think short term, we have some probably nasty days ahead of us. Long term, in the next 6 months, past that, I think we're going to be pretty happy that we stayed on course. I think it's important that you interject yourself into your local governments, and I'm going to advocate for, if you have a blockchain council in your state, get in with them. There's the U.S. Blockchain Council, there's Satoshi Action Fund. There's a lot of organizations out there that you can become part of to help shape your own future, because right now we get the chance to write our own future here, and we don't need to mess that up.
It's a good call.
Just like any other industry, right? That's new. The oil industry had to do this. The automotive industry. So we're new. We've only been in America really for a couple of years, really taking over as Americans, right?
So
the education is going to be really important. I think that's going to be the key thing that we need to work on, and everything else will come with that, I think. So.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Great last words there.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to follow Ben on Twitter, I'll link his Twitter directly down below. Go over and follow him to learn more about him and keep up to date with what he's doing here in Arkansas.